Now that you have a general overview of the quoting process, let's get into the meat of how to find opportunities in your auto policy. As you go through the quoting process, gathering information, opportunities are found by just discussing the client's insurance needs. Remember, my favorite question in this process is why? So let's get started with liability coverage. When discussing liability, this is where you need to find out what asset you are protecting to help the client determine the coverage amount that they need. The question here may be, Mr. Client, how do you come up with the current coverage amount on your policy? If not much thought was put into it, and they were just getting the cheapest quote or going with whatever the agent or advisor told them, then you can explain why doing an evaluation is important. For example, liability coverage protects your assets should you get into an accident and you are at fault. Having the right coverage is critical as you don't want to have your assets exposed to a liability settlement and find out you don't have enough coverage. So let's do a quick evaluation and see how much in assets you have to cover. I encourage my team to use a liability worksheet that I've put together and go through a quick evaluation. This doesn't take very long, but gives a quick evaluation of the value of their home, their income, their savings, and any other assets. Once this is added up, you don't really have to say a lot. The number speaks for itself. The client would just have to decide if they want all of it covered by you or be self-insured. Going through this process, you also find other opportunities. Do they need an umbrella policy outside of the liability coverage? If they own a home, there's an opportunity for homeowner insurance. If they are renting, you can ask about renter's insurance. If they have large savings earning little interest and you offer other financial services products, this is where you have the info to discuss IRA, life insurance, or other products. Remember, don't sidetrack. Gather info, touch on other opportunities a bit if needed, but stay focused on closing the current deal first. Moving on to medical coverage. The question to ask is, why did you choose $5,000 medical coverage, or why don't you have any medical coverage? This is where you will discover if they have a good medical policy, whether they have high deductible and copay, if they have disability or hospital indemnity policies, and introduce the client why they should consider these coverages. In comprehensive and collision is where I understand the client's philosophy in how they spend their money. Are they people who prefer being well protected even if they have to spend a little more? Or are they people who know how to manage their money and prefer keeping it in their pocket and paying out only when necessary? The question to ask here is, if your car was stolen or if it's involved in an accident and you are at fault, what can you afford to put out of pocket or prefer to put out of pocket before wanting the insurance carrier to pay for the loss or damage? Here is where I will guide them about the importance of having the right coverage. So many people have this thought that if their car is old, they will not need to carry comprehensive or collision. Yet these same people struggle to pay their bills and don't realize that to replace even an old car can be detrimental to their finance. So I asked them this question: how much is your vehicle worth? Will you be able to afford paying that amount if your vehicle is lost or stolen? Do you want to pay that amount if it is a loss? If not, then would you rather pay $200 every 6 months or less than $20 a month to make sure that if you have a loss, you would not struggle to pay that expense? Painting a picture and asking the right questions for your client to make the best decision for themselves will help protect your client properly and establish you as a credible advisor. Finally, if your auto policy offers disability or accidental death, or if you see that in their policy, this would be a great opportunity to approach your disability and life products. If they don't have the product, the question would be, do you currently have disability insurance or do you currently have life insurance? If no, why not? And if they don't have it, it will be a good nose for you so that you can ask them about these coverages later. On the other hand, if they actually have that coverage on their policy, then you can ask a question: why did you choose to have this disability? Have you done an evaluation to make sure you are properly covered for your life needs? Or if the policy only offers life insurance for accidental death, then this is where you can explain the difference and perhaps get them to the right coverage that properly protect their family. That's it. Having the right question will give you the right answer and also lead your client into understanding their own needs without you having to actually tell them what they need. And this is important because if the client is the one that is committed and understand why they have certain coverage, will also help them be committed to you as an advisor. So best of luck. Come back again. Next time we're going to go into the presentation of your policy.